Costume number. Not every fairy tale has a happily ever after.
This is the Temple of Geek Cosplay Connection, your inside connection to the world of cosplay.
Thanks for joining me today on this episode of Cosplay Connection. I'm excited to introduce this episode's guest, Toria, with Toria of Costuming, Design, and Cosplay. Toria, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Hey, so let's start from the beginning. When did you start cosplaying?
I started cosplaying last year in 2014.
Why cosplay?
Cosplay allowed me to showcase my costumes that I love to create. I've been sewing and designing costumes for about 5 years now, and so when I heard about comic conventions and the cosplay they had there, I instantly was like, oh my gosh, I have to do this. So last year was my experiment kind of into it, kind of seeing how it is. It's definitely been a learning block being in the cosplay community, especially learning new ideas, how to put characters together.
Where do you get your inspiration for your costumes?
My inspiration comes from a lot of places. If I was to recreate a costume from a movie or a comic or book, I'd find reference images and try to see how close I can get it to their character. But for my original designs, what I like to do is keep 3 main things that are known for them. So like in Ariel, I would keep her red hair, her seashells, and her scales, which would be a greenish, kind of bluish color. So that's how I keep my inspiration for original designs.
Do you make your costumes yourself, or do you buy them pre-made?
So far, all my costumes have been made by myself. I do all my pattern drafting, the cutting out, the sewing, everything, putting them together. I also started building armor this year, so experimenting with Warbler, EVA foam, so that's been kind of an experiment. I also actually had a commission made for me by Ravenswood Leather for a film Captain America, and also Core Geek Creations created 2 props for me, my Tariel daggers and my Lady Sif sword.
What has been the most difficult costume for you to make?
The most difficult costume would be really a combination of all mine. With my Ariel, it was building the armor and trying to get like the right shape and proportions. Alice, it would be kind of maybe like the sleeves or just like sewing and all the ruffles on the skirt. So there's a lot of factors that in all my costumes, there's always a difficult part in it. There's nothing like, oh, I can just breeze past it. There's always something that will come up, will be more a little bit challenging or something new that I've never done before.
Is there a trick in making costumes that you wish someone would have told you when you first started?
I don't think there's really a trick I wish someone told me about before. Maybe wigs. Wigs is the hardest thing for me right now. Just like all the styling, putting them together, making sure they're all on right. But overall, I don't think there's really any tricks.
Have you ever competed in any cosplay competitions?
Yes, I competed at WonderCon 2015's Masquerade with my warrior Ariel, Queen of the Sea. It was my first time ever doing a masquerade, so it was a big learning experience, and it was amazing going out and all the audience and seeing all the amazing cosplayers. And it was such an honor to also win Best Original Design.
You have mentioned your warrior Ariel. What other characters have you cosplayed as?
Last year, I cosplayed as Tariel from The Hobbit, Triss from Divergent, and a femme Clark Kent, and also a steampunk girl, which was an original creation. This year, I've cosplayed so far Rose Tyler from Doctor Who Idiot's Lantern episode, Clara Oswald from Doctor Who also, her Robot of Sherwood dress, and also a femme version of the 11th Doctor, and then also my Queen of the Sea and Wonderland Alice.
If you had to choose a favorite out of all of your lineup, what costume would be your most favorite?
That'd be a tough one. I would have to say Ariel and my Wonderland Alice are at the top of the list. I just love them both, especially the characters. But I would have to choose probably Ariel because it was an original design that was very difficult to put together, and especially since it was the first time putting armor, and it was also the first time competing in a masquerade with her.
Are there any characters that you would like to cosplay as that perhaps you might be a little embarrassed or haven't found the courage yet to do?
I don't think there's been really any cosplays that I've been embarrassed about, since usually all the cosplays I create and costumes, they're from fandoms or artwork that I love. So really, it's characters that I come to love. So no, nothing really embarrassing. There is a dream cosplay. I hope in the near future, maybe next year, in a few years, to cosplay as Sauron from The Lord of the Rings, because that'd be a really awesome armor build, I think, especially since it's so big.
And would that be a gender bending character?
I would keep it true to its form, so I'll be looking like actual Sauron himself. No girliness to it.
That'd be awesome. What conventions have you been to?
So far last year I went to Wizard World Sacramento, which was my first convention, WonderCon, Clockwork Alchemy and Fanime, and also FantasyCon. This year so far I've been to Gallifrey, WonderCon, Wizard World Sacramento, and D23, NerdCon, and Salt Lake Comic Con.
And you said those are the ones that you've been to?
Yes.
Are there any future conventions that you are planning on attending?
For this year, I plan on attending Comikaze, and then next year, I haven't really figured out all my schedule yet, but WonderCon 2016 is definitely on my schedule.
Now, I'm sure walking the convention floors, you get weird people that come up to you sometimes and stuff. What's the weirdest thing to ever happen to you at a convention?
I don't know. That's kind of, I had to think about that one. I don't think it's from like an adult I think it was a little kid because I was in my warrior Ariel. She did come up to me and grab my seashells. So that was a little weird, but she was a little kid, so that's okay. But yeah, I don't really think I've had anything weird happen yet.
Well, that's good. What does Toria do as a full-time job?
Well, as a full-time job, I'm a high school student, so senior this year. Costuming really is my kind of job. I just focus on that a lot. I'm hoping actually to start a little business next year for selling like swing skirts, purses, and maybe aprons that are all character themed. So
That's really awesome. So that kind of segues into my next question. Do you see you doing cosplay as maybe your profession?
I don't really see myself becoming like a professional cosplayer. Maybe like selling prints eventually, or maybe doing panels. I think it'd be awesome to be like a judge at a competition and be able to see all the workmanship everyone's put into it. I do see myself as becoming a costume designer because that's where I want to be in a few years, is designing on sets or in theaters for like creating the original designs that people are going to get inspiration for to do their cosplays.
What can we expect to see from you in about a year or so?
Well, I'm going to be creating a lot of big costumes now. This year, I kind of was a foundation of creating everything kind of like smaller. So at Comikaze, I'm going to have a pretty big competition cosplay coming out. And at WonderCon, there's going to be a pretty big one too. They're all kind of secret right now because I don't really want anyone knowing what the character is, especially since a few of them are original designs. But so far, next year is going to be really going towards the competitions and creating costumes that are pretty big.
As I start to close this episode, do you have anything that you might want to say to someone that is just starting to get into cosplay?
I would say just have fun with it. It doesn't matter your skill level or anything. We all start at some point. There's always a learning experience, especially with costuming. There's so many aspects to the cosplay world. So there's the costuming, there's the posing, photography. So really, it's just about having fun and cosplaying characters you love. That's really matters.
Toria, would you like to give yourself a plug? Do you have any websites or any social media or anything that you would like to plug?
Sure. Hi guys, I'm Toria with Toria Costuming Design and Cosplay, and my Instagram is at Toria_cosplay.
Well, Toria, thank you again very much for joining me on this episode's discussion. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day. I know you have a busy con schedule getting ready to start for you, so I really appreciate you coming on. Well, that's going to do it for this episode of the Temple of Geek Cosplay Connection. Remember to visit thetempleofgeek.com for future episodes of this show. And as always, thanks for watching. Hey guys, Slade here from the Temple of Geek. Did you like that video? You should check out some of our other videos located right there. And also, you can hit us up on templeofgeek.com, your one stop for all things geek.